very humorous in many respects, and that's hardly the measure of a person by any stretch of the imagination, other than, oh, I know that name.
Yeah. It's interesting, so people have less deep connections now and more shallow connections. So if you look at who people marry, back in the old days, people would marry within, a 20-mile radius of where they lived because that's the only people they met, right? And
Yes.
now people, they hop on Tinder and people end up marrying people that are thousands of miles away. And it's changed a lot of stuff in the culture for the worse. So, if you're on Twitter, as I often am, they
Well,
measure how many.
I think that's good for the gene pool. I really do.
That is, yes. I
Think
agree with
about
that.
the smaller the community, the more inbred it becomes. I
Hmm.
mean, ultimately, if you live in the Appalachians, way off in the mountains, the only people you know are your cousins, and that's who you marry. I mean, so
Yep.
I think it's good. It's good for the diversity of the gene pool.
I agree with that. From the dating perspective, it is better. From the synergy and business perspective, it's better. But from the consumption of human consciousness, and you look at how humans spend their time now, they spend all of their minutes staring at a screen, hoping for the dopamine hit of the likes for people that they'll never meet, that if the shit really hit the fan, maybe some of them would be there. And so these companies, there's surveillance capitalism, and then there's attention capitalism, and they're consuming all of our consciousness. And then there's nothing left to create. There's nothing left to be you when you spend all day consuming someone else's ideas,
I like your phrase, consumption of human consciousness, because really I'd never quite looked at it quite at that depth, but that's exactly what it is.
It's
You walk into a coffee shop and people don't even bother to look up anymore.
right.
They
Or they're
stay
terrified to.
they
Yep.
stay glued to that flat machine. And if you think that little screen is not going to evolve into something which not just consumes consciousness, but imparts ideas and actions. I mean, you're doing it already. I mean, if you're driving, how many people bother to look at a map anymore and draw a route? No, you key it in,
Yeah.
and then you obey that sweet little voice. Turn left here. Uh, Go 2 blocks, make a right. And by the way, I just wish someone would sell one of those things with options, like a humorous option.
Like
Good
George
God,
Carlin voice.
some credit. Like, good God, asshole, I told you to make a left. That's the third left you've missed. Shit like
Yeah.
that. Right?
It's the saddest part of all of it. They get all this data about you. So Google now knows everything you search for and reads all your email because I got 15,000 signups on the email list, 17,000, and I see who the emails are. They're mostly Gmail addresses. So
Yep.
they know what you're searching for. They know where you physically are because they own Android. And if they didn't own Android, they own the Google searches and they own the Google Maps and they own Fitbit, so they know your heart rate, so they know when you're looking for porn, what porn you're watching, and when you catch your nut. This is
Yes.
not, and then after they do all of that, they still give you shitty untargeted ads anyway. So yeah, so you do a search for a humidifier and you buy one, and now they show you humidifiers for the next 6 months, like you're collecting the fucking things, like you need 10 of them. It just doesn't make any sense.
I think I'm going to enjoy this.
So what would be awesome is if companies made money not trying to suck up all your time and still found this energy to show you products that you wanted to buy and then let you be free and to go do other things. It'd be better for everyone. Companies would make more money. The human would have more free time. You'd be able to watch. It would just make everything better. And it's just silly that we're
But,
not there yet.
but hang on. But someone would sneak in with something brand new and steal more of the consciousness. You know
Could
this
be.
is
Yeah, it could be, yes.
this is corporate greed. This is how it fucking works. There's never enough. I don't care
It's true.
if a company is making a profit of $100 billion a year. That's not enough.
Well,
It was bad.
the funny part is that if the CEO attempted to be more humanist and save the humans, so for instance, if a CEO of a company produced a terrible product and knew that his competitor had a better product, In an ideal world, he would say, listen, our product sucks. You should buy that other one. We'll do our best to do better. But the shareholders could sue him for not acting in the best interest of the company. So even if a CEO wanted to do the right thing, the fact that he's beholden to the shareholders means that he can't. So he has to use dark patterns, and he has to lie and frame things so that his bad product looks good.
I'm not sure that's just the only option. I mean, I've been in this situation many times. If it were me, I'd go, Jesus God, that product is so much better than mine. Someone schedule a meeting with their CEO,
Right.
and then I'd walk in with my bravest face and my, the best cards that I can play, and I'd say, let's cut a deal. Buy my
Right.
ass out, or I will ravage your heels forever. Um, no, come on, that's how
It's
it really
true.
works.
Yeah, look, it's
That's how it really works. And then, you explain to the shareholders, I'm sorry, we fucked up. Our
yeah.
development team, I fired them all, and the ones that didn't leave, I've shot. So that's no more problem. Um,
We know that if you started
their
shooting
product,
your workers, they would live because they're all wearing body armor. So you'd have to be very targeted with where you're shooting them. You got in for the throat, basically.
yeah,
This is for the people that know, John. So, in my idea of life was always okay. I want to try and live forever if I can, but I'm no good at dieting. I'm good at exercise now, but just lifting weights, not the cardio. So, half of fitness and no dieting. So, if I'm going to survive, I need technology. That's what I need. And now I think you're 74, right?
yes, yes.
Yeah. So John's 74. He's fitter than I am. If you see him with his shirt off, he'll take pictures and put his shirt off on the internet. I'm not doing that. I don't want you to see what's under here. He's happy to show off his body. He's even got crypto tattoos. If you're gonna get to 74, you've got two options: try and make it last as long as you can, or go out with a bang. Right? I think John chose the bang route.
Yeah, I have been actually going out with a bang for 35 years or more. The bang just hasn't popped yet.
They
Okay.
need to study your DNA if ever they have the chance, because I mean I've seen some of your interviews, and I believe you do experimental chemicals, designer drugs that aren't even mainstream enough for most people to know how to handle them properly.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so normal drugs are not good enough for John. John needs drugs that are a next level. Not that many people have taken them yet.
Let
Like,
me, let me give you an example. All right. So, I mean, it's no secret that I favor cathinones in the experimental research range, and they're stimulants, but way, way more than stimulants. So, one of them is a thing called methylene dioxypyrovalerone, MDPV. Now, you remember some years back where a stranger ate another stranger's face
yeah, it's
on
a
the
Florida story. I'm from Florida. I know all the Florida stories.
Okay, so he really was on MDPV. I don't care what the toxicology reports say, because you couldn't identify it. They didn't have any toxicology reports. Methylene dioxypyrovalerone, I know for a fact. Well, anyway, so his problem was this: MDPV is so dosage dependent. So for every 25 pounds of weight, you want to take 1 milligram. 1 milligram. All right. So if you take, let's say you're 150 pounds, that's going to be 6 milligrams. If you take exactly 6 milligrams of exactly pure MDPV, you're going to have an experience that you will never fucking forget. I promise you.
I would
Um,
suggest that
if,
everyone try this out when they're
no,
74.
let me finish. Let me finish. If you take 7 milligrams, you're going to eat somebody's face off. And if you take 5, you're going to feel nothing at all. So this is some of the problems with the new research chemicals. They are extraordinarily dosage dependent. So
I mean, shouldn't they, in theory, cut that down so that you have to use a larger unit set so that your errors are smaller? So if you,
well, people do it. Yeah, people do it different ways. Okay, they'll take a kilo, cut it in half, and cut that in half, cut that in half, and you just partition it out.
but
That's
if one of your
brilliant.
cuts isn't right, then you're over on one of them and you're fucked.
Yeah, see, that's the
Yeah.
problem. So no, you got to spend a few $1,000s for a scale that will measure micrograms. Um,
Or
and there,
not, or just not do any of that shit. Just be happy with the normal drugs.
I mean, I've taken all the normal drugs. I mean, I'm sorry.
See, if what you're saying about being dose dependent is true, then there's also likely dosage modifiers such as body weight, metabolism level, counter like other drugs that you're taking that may
Yeah,
increase or
right. I mean,
decrease your metabolism.
anybody
It,
who would ever begin to go into the cathinones is going to carry a large quantity of benzodiazepines.
right, take
If
the
something
edge.
does go awry and you want to eat your landlord's face, say, wait a minute, let me pop this pill first.
Oh man,
Then if you still want to eat his face,
yeah.
maybe you don't like him.
So, I asked because you're a wonderful speaker. So, when I first saw you, I thought, oh, this guy's crazy. Because the first time I saw you, you were snorting coke or pretend coke off of the table, and there was a bunch of professional-looking ladies in bikinis surrounding you. It was an advertisement that you had produced. I think you shot it in Belize. And I thought, okay, that's interesting, right? You were a successful tech entrepreneur, and now it looked to me like you were going to do the social wild man kind of thing. And then, I actually saw you speak on television regarding your price prediction, your $1 million Bitcoin in 2020, end of 2020 price prediction, and it was very, very, very good. Your tonality and your intonation and your timing was all fabulous. So I really respect your public speaking, and a lot of people are hyped up about this interview that we're doing because we're both kind of the top of the crypto public speaking game. There's
Yeah,
maybe
no
only four
question.
people that could do
I'm
well.
not quite in your class yet, but I'm working
Well,
on it. All right.
I've seen you wear a
I'm
suit,
just
man.
going
It's
to take
different. You can do it.
I'm going to take a few more stimulants and see if I can't catch
Yeah. So in crypto, I mean, it's Andreas Antonopoulos, Trace Meyer, me, you, and really no one else